right, and we are live. We are live on this fine Saturday morning, August 20th, 2022. Larsen Halleck here. How is everybody? First of all, I will tell you that this stream might be a bit short because I have to deal with some automobile-related fuckery, such as it is. Nothing serious. My bumper came off. It's entirely aesthetic, but I still gotta put that bumper on because, obviously my 11-year-old piece of crap Honda, I won't be attracting the broads with a bumper off, obviously. Anyway, yes, how is everybody? That song was a cover of Ruins of Mondoria by, how do you even pronounce this guy's name? It's like Tung XX, TUENGXX. Another YouTuber. I always like to rep my fellow YouTubers. Check them out. Okay, we got some comments here. Ponythroat says Fido got paused. Yes, we will be getting to that in a little bit. There's a dog pausing going on. But first, we got to get to the news. Okay, so Henry Kissinger trended on Twitter the other day, and sadly, it's not because he died. He's still alive. I mean, guys like that somehow managed to live far beyond their deserved lifespans. Instead, Henry Kissinger is saying that we are on the edge of war with Russia and China. Yes, probably, Henry. We are on the road to war due to issues that we are at least partially responsible for. Yeah, I can't disagree. Just to clarify, when even Henry Kissinger is saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't expand NATO to literally right on Russia's borders, yeah, maybe I ought to have listened. But to get into more quotes, and I quote directly, Mr. Kissinger sees today's world as verging on a dangerous disequilibrium. We have no concept of how this is going to end or what it's supposed to lead to. Could the U.S. manage the two adversaries by triangulating between them, like during his heyday in the Nixon years? Well, I mean, it's not that easy. And yeah, I mean, I've always said that the failure of America to make friends with Russia after the Cold War was really a failure on both ends. I mean, America should not have expanded NATO's reach literally to Russia's borders, and Russia needs to admit that they were completely wrong with communism, how they, were completely bamboozled by the allure of capitalism afterwards. So, yeah, let's agree that we were all wrong and make amends. But, we can't do that because there's a bunch of blood-drinking lunatics who need to have war, endless war. This is entirely unrelated, but yes, I've reached 5,000 subscribers. I was told that my subscriber count would skyrocket. It has not. So, once again, I get hyped up for something, and I am disappointed. Ponythroat says, I react to Henry Kissinger like I react to Obama. Fuck off, has-been. Yes, I agree. And it's worth pointing out that Henry Kissinger, he is not given to self-criticism. Direct quote, I do not torture myself with things you might have done differently, he says. So, yeah, again, I'd like to reiterate that when even he's saying we need to cool it, yes, that's a problem. So how are people reacting to this news that we might be entering World War III with Russia and China? Well, I can't help but notice that, once again, a lot of people seem to be under the impression that a war with China will be a cakewalk because my body weight, it's like they're like 100 pounds and 5 feet tall. Chinks can't fight. I made 2 videos about this, and apparently nobody listened. Once again, we keep falling into this trap. Can we, please stop doing this? And, these are just Twitter assholes. I mean, I don't know if this is a policy directly from the Pentagon. I mean, I think it may very well be. And, secondly, as I've discussed with this issue, people ask me, Larsen, your heritage is from Taiwan, not the mainland. Why are you defending the Chi-Coms? Well, I'm not. I mean, it's always going to lead to some half-assed interpretation of history where it's like, China lost every war they fought, hurdy-dur, which is objectively wrong. But yeah, if you're discussing China at any point before 1949, yeah, you are shit-talking my culture and heritage, so you can go fuck yourself. Thanks. Okay, let's check the comments here. What do we see? We have absolutely no new comments. That's wonderful. Now, speaking of my profession, the teaching profession, which, by the way, I'm still waiting for the test results from Praxis, those lazy assholes. But yes, apparently, the teachers in the Oakland public schools, they got results with their reading program. And they're really, really angry about that because apparently teaching children to read phonetically is like racist or something. I should have this on hand. I don't. I apologize. I'm gonna look up what I mean. I did read a specific news article about this. Let me try to find that. Please excuse my lack of preparation here. Let's see. Okay, I think I found some things. Yes, I'm finding tweets about it. Teachers didn't like it because apparently it's yes. Sorry for my lack of preparation here. I was doing lesson plans all week, and I apologize. But here we go. The massive effort to change the way kids are taught to read. Oakland teachers revolted against a phonics-based reading curriculum because it was dehumanizing and colonizing. Yes, apparently reading is like racist or something. I don't understand. But let's take a look at this article, shall we? Sorry. So yes, fourth and fifth graders were taught how to read. I mean, I have to ask why fourth and fifth graders have to be taught how to read. Yes, it's a structured phonics-based reading curriculum. It worked for the students. Apparently, it was really good. For 7 years in a row, Oakland had the highest gain in test scores of any urban district in California, and the teachers hated it. The teachers felt like, and I quote, curriculum robots, and they pushed back. It's like, this is dehumanizing. It's colonizing. This is the man telling us what to do. So they fought tooth and nail as a teacher group to throw that out. It was replaced in 2015 by a curriculum that emphasized the rich literary experiences. People who wanted to fight for social justice. This new progressive way of teaching reading was the way. So apparently it's about how does reading make you feel instead of actually, reading. And now, of course, they're fighting to get the phonic and phonetic reading back into the school. Yeah, way to shoot yourself in the foot, guys. I mean, I've said this many times. I'm a teacher, but yeah, a lot of teachers should be thrown out onto the street. A lot of teachers should be like, taking out garbage or I mean, I don't want to say that because that's an insult to people who take out garbage. But yeah, a lot of teachers are just worthless human beings, and I say that as a teacher myself. When it's like, when you have people literally hamstringing children's learning because it's racist and it makes their jobs harder, like that's incredibly stupid. And I don't understand like how these people can even think this way. And I still don't understand how this is supposed to be, colonialist somehow. I mean, you all know my opinions of what they should be doing with teaching. I did a whole video on that topic. Okay, we got some comments here. Yes, Biff Slankovich says he read that the teachers want to go back to phonetics since they had successfully with scores had gone up. Yes, they did. They want to go back to it now, but for a long time they're like, "Oh, we can't do this. It's racist, it's colonialist." Yes, Captain Day After Day says teaching phonetically sucks in general. I mean, for the most part, I think it does work. Yeah, there are little, kind of kludges because so much of the English language does come from like Romance languages or German, and there's a lot of these like weird kind of layovers from those languages. But yeah, for the most part, phonetics does work. I mean, it certainly does a lot better than that whole word learning crap or whatever. Okay, Ponythroat says, I did not learn to read phonetically. I was homeschooled, so I learned by context. The teacher was me, and I was 11. Yes, I mean, I feel like in a lot of cases, homeschooling does work better, at least for like the young kids. Shoki Dance says, "Oh shit, son, good to see you again." Hello. Biv Slankovich says it's all about reinventing the wheel education. They come back to farms because it worked. You can enrich the curriculum at the same time. I mean, yeah, a lot of it shouldn't be reinventing the wheel, but you got to pay those McGraw Hill sinecure hacks and the administration hacks to constantly throw things at the wall because eventually we're going to close that achievement gap. Probably by making everybody incredibly stupid, but you know, as long as it's closed, as long as we have equity, it's all good. Yeah, I mean, you should do what works for reading, and then you should focus more on getting the kids to actually be interested in reading. Once again, my suggestion is fill those libraries with pulp fiction. That'll get the kids, or at least the boys, interested in reading. And the publishing industry is largely targeted towards women, so the girls are not having any difficulties getting interested in reading. But yeah, like get pulp fiction in the schools. It's free and it's better than anything being written nowadays. But I digress. Captain Day After Day says phonetics does work, but it was stressful during spelling class. I know I personally never had that much difficulty with spelling, mainly because I actually read a lot as a child and I still do. So I don't know. I mean, I personally maybe maybe my ideas for schooling are a little bit far fetched, mainly because a lot of kids really are just that goddamn dumb. I mean, this morning, I have a kid who I teach piano to on Saturday mornings before this stream, and boy, that kid sucks the big one. I mean, to the point where I honestly think I could train like a rooster to peck at the keys and probably do better than that kid. But I keep trying because I got to get paid. And I feel like that's the way a lot of it is in school too. And no, spare me that, everybody can learn crap. No, everybody cannot learn. I mean, if you didn't learn from the first day in kindergarten that some kids are smarter than some other kids, you have your eyes closed. And no, Susan, it's not a racial thing, it's an individual thing. Yeah, speaking of controversial teaching, everything that's been going on Twitter nowadays is a lot of talk of former kickboxer Andrew Tate has been banned from social media. Apparently, he's some manosphere guy. I mean, I honestly never read like any of his stuff because the manosphere is a bunch of stupid clown shoes crap, and it's been that way pretty much ever since I abandoned it. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't approve of anybody being banned from any social media. Uh, I don't really even know what he said that was so controversial, to be quite honest. Let's look at an article and see what he said. Okay, let's see. Andrew Tate, former kickboxing champion, has a win over English UFC star Luke Barnett, has risen to massive prominence in Instagram and TikTok by fans, being shared on, whatever. Okay, apparently he's also an accused human trafficker, so we can't forget that. I mean, I don't want to pass any judge on him because I don't know if that was something that he actually did. Yeah, I'm trying to find any examples of what he said, actually. I'm trying to look. I mean, he's said some sexist things. I mean, I don't know if he was just trolling or not. Again, I don't really care about this guy, nor have I ever heard of him. And I feel like if I haven't heard of you, you're not all that famous. So, whatever. But I think Andrew Tate, much like Jordan Peterson and even myself to an extent, it reflects, the millennial desire to like have like a stern father figure that a lot of people don't have nowadays. Yeah, Ponythroat says it best. He's one of those guys that 15-year-old nerds send their good boy points to become alpha males. Yes. Yes. Optimus Prime says, seems like most millennials and Gen Z are more lazy than anything else. So much info in front of your fingertips, but they're dumber than most. Yeah, I agree. Get off the TikToks and start reading wiki source, get the Pulp Fictions. Biff Slankovich says, sorry, woke up a little phlegmy this morning. He sees little kids in the library taking out loads of books, say the tweeners fooling around playing video games, no reading. Somehow the gap is growing. Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of it is just because, you know, a lot of the stuff they make you read in school is just garbage. I mean, I will never stop advocating Pulp Fiction being read in schools. And of course, the problem is that a lot of these school teachers are, pedantic little weenies who would have, a touch of the vapors if they had to read some H.P. Lovecraft or Robert Howard or Edgar Rice Burroughs. So, I don't think that's going to happen, but it ought to. Yeah, before I got the job as the biology teacher, I actually was interviewed to teach history in another school. And if I had been sent in for a callback, I would have had to do a mock lesson. I would have done a mock lesson on Pulp Fiction and how it ties into, film noir and superheroes. And it is sort of a unique American cultural property that should be preserved. But I don't know if the pedantic weenies could have handled that one. Yes, in more serious news, leaving behind closeted homosexual kickboxers and, reading silliness, Salman Rushdie's attacker was arrested and charged with attempted murder. Yes, somebody really want to collect on that fatwa and, is stab the crap out of him. Salman Rushdie is thankfully expected to live. Yeah, he's had fatwas against him since the 80s. And, obviously I'm a free speech absolutist, and I don't, approve of anybody being stabbed for their words. I looked up Salman Rushdie on Twitter, and there's a lot of people supporting his stabber. A lot of people justifying it. A lot of people are supporting that fatwa. I do not. Let me look up some more on Mr. Rushdie and the unpleasantness that happened. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, so Salman Rushdie's attacker was apparently the son of a shepherd, which, I would have thought would be a more noble profession, but, what can I do? Yes, a Mr. Matar. His father was a shepherd. He tends to flocks of goats and sheep. Yeah, clearly we're finding, the best of the best to bring to this country here. Yes, but thankfully, Mr. Rushdie will be expected to make a full recovery. And, yeah, let's hope for the best. I mean, I do have to point out that a lot of this does seem to be reflective of the growing opinion that, words are violence. And, if words are violence, and therefore you can justify attacking somebody for their words. Nobody seems to make that connection yet, but, I think somebody will. Ponythroat says, when I was a foal, the first books I read was Terry Pratchett's entire back catalog. That's interesting. I mean, Discworld's pretty cool. I mean, I didn't get into pulp until I was in high school, but I really should have gotten into it earlier because, goddamn, that's some good stuff. And it single-handedly reignited my love of reading after decades of just anodyne garbage that make you read in school. Optimus Prime says, why be smart when you can be a racist? Well, it certainly makes your life a lot easier. Okay, in American political news, Liz Cheney ran for Senate in Wyoming, and she absolutely ate shit. And I'm pretty happy about that, to be honest. Business Insider says Liz Cheney's loss in Wyoming is Trump's biggest primary victory as he tries to purge the Republican Party of his critics. That's the headline. Yes, it's they're talking about how Trump is gassed. He's strengthening his grip over the Republican Party. Yeah, God forbid we lose, the warmongering neocons. Yeah, God forbid. And has anybody else noticed how all these, Democrats and liberals just love like Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney now all of a sudden. I mean, I grew up during the Bush years, and if you had told me that like Democrats would be supporting the Cheneys, I would have laughed in your face at that time. Like I don't even know what happened, to be quite honest. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like, are the Cheneys even from Wyoming? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I will reiterate this again and again until it sinks in and becomes mainstream political opinion. Like, I don't like Trump. Like, Trump's a douche. He's a blustering, loudmouth asshole. But given him the choice, I should say, the choice between him and the neocons, I'm going Trump 10 out of 10 times. Yeah, like, screw the Cheneys. Biff Slankovich says there should be a statute of limitations on fatwas. I don't think so. I mean, fatwas last forever. And I think there was even a bounty on Salman Rushdie's like death that the Ayatollah put up. So, I think, yeah, fatwas, they don't have statutes of limitations. The last comment I read from you, Ponythrow, was the one about Terry Pratchett. Mockness Prime, referring to the Liz Cheney thing, just like when Hillary Clinton ran for Senate in New York. She wasn't even from New York and she still won. Yeah, I think Bill Burr, the comedian, said it best. Like, I have no idea how Hillary Clinton even became a senator. It's like, what, you slept with the president and then you just become a senator all of a sudden? I mean, yeah, I mean, I hate to use the term carpetbagger, but yeah, there's a lot of that in politics. I mean, the Bushes are not from Texas or Florida for that matter. They're New England wasps, but they just kind of waltzed their way into like Southern politics and won that. W literally hired a voice coach so he could talk in a Southern accent. And you got the Cheneys, who are, now like just, yeah, like W and the Cheneys are now becoming like darlings of the Democrats. And I still don't know how that happened. But yes, one might say that Liz Cheney's hopes for senatorial election got shot in the face with birdshot. Yeah, yes, I went there. Hey, all right, so yeah, now we're gonna come to the title of this stream, monkeypox. It is indeed not just for people because the first human to dog monkeypox transfer has occurred in France. Yes, I hate to bring this up, but yes, apparently the poor dog has anal ulcerations and mucocutaneous lesions, lesions. Yeah, I'm not gonna ask questions about what exactly was going on there, but yeah, apparently the monkeypox thing is not going away. The dog has monkeypox now, and I was gonna say there's been some headlines saying that surprise, monkeypox is coming predominantly from gay sex. The NBC News says this is a direct headline: sex between men, not skin contact, is fueling most of the monkeypox. The claim that skin-to-skin contact during sex between men drives most monkeypox transmissions likely backwards. So yes, I think we're all coming to the conclusion now that monkeypox is being caused by sexual contact, which again raises some questions about the dog. And there's been occasional infections of children too, and we're all just going to cough and look around and like not look at the big elephant in the room, so to speak. Okay. Mocktimus Prime says Democrats like Liz Cheney now because she's against Trump. The old enemy man in me is my friend. I guess that's why they like the Bush. The Bush. I said that's why they like W. Bush now too. I mean, again, Biff, I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. Like, I don't like Trump, but I really don't care for the neocon establishment. It's lesser of two evils kind of thing. But yeah, monkeypox. I, it's been a while since I've had any sort of contact with like openly gay people. Like I said, pretty much every girlfriend I've dated has been a bit of a hag, so to speak, to varying degrees. So yeah, I'm not in contact with the gay community, but yeah, can we like just use condoms, guys? I've got some payments, as Mark Wahlberg said. Okay, let's see. Mitchell Valentino says, "Watch out for the monkeypox super spreaders." Yes, super spreaders. There's quite a lot of double entendres we could say here, but I'm not going to because I'm more sophisticated and intellectual than that. Again, use condoms, people. If there's any gay people listening, I respect what you do. You have a right to do it, but please practice safe sex. And speaking of the gay community, a drag queen who also worked as a youth counselor was recently charged with 25 counts of child pornography. That's a lot. Yes, in Pennsylvania, this drag queen who counseled children at a safe haven for the gay youth has been charged with lots of child pornography. That's yeah, that's not good. Again, I don't have anything against drag performance. I don't have anything wrong with there's gay kids. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But we got to vet these people because they keep saying that this thing, oh, it never happens. Like there's no grooming, but there seems to be a lot of grooming actually. Just what I've noticed. Captain Day After Day says, "Don't forget to wear a mask when entering the bathhouse." Yes, yes, of course. I don't. Yeah, but raw dogging's fun, bro. You can't disrupt our fun. Same thing that happened with the AIDS crisis, and it's happening now with the monkeypox. Okay, so now let's leave behind the crap fest. Again, I kind of stumbled over my words. I was going to say clown show and crap fest because really both those words are applicable. The crappy clown fest that is the United States, and let's go to some news overseas. In Norway, authorities in Norway euthanized a walrus that had drawn crowds of spectators in the Oslo fjord after concluding that it posed a risk to humans. Yes, apparently, killing an animal in its own environment saves human lives. The female walrus, known as Freya, the Norse goddess of beauty, I believe, had become a popular attraction in Norway in recent weeks. That's bang up job, Norway. Bang up job. I mean, the people were getting close. They're posing for pictures with the giant walrus. Apparently, Freya liked to climb onto little boats and cause damage to them. Somehow, euthanizing the walrus was the answer here. I don't know why, you couldn't just keep people away. But, whatever. Just kill an animal. Just like Harambe. I think people are right. I think that killing Harambe kind of split the timelines and it caused a time paradox. And, we're not living in the best timeline we should have been living in. Killing the innocent animals is not good. Okay. Biff Slankovich says, "What stupid thing could Herschel Walker say about monkeypox? People come from apes. Why they're still apes?" Yes, that is a common fallacy amongst people questioning evolution. And yeah, I mean, Herschel Walker's been doing a bang up job making a fool of himself. Ponythroat says, "Should it be illegal to not pretend that the citizens of Gomorrah are our moral equals?" Not sure what you're referring to there. Unless you're referring to, the gay community, which, again, I don't have anything against the gays. Again, I don't even have anything against like furious bathhouse bumming sessions, but just do it safely. I mean, I practice safe sex. Everybody should practice safe sex. Ponythroat says, given what the lamestream wants us to think of as beauty, naming a walrus Freya probably fits. Yes, I didn't want to say it, but yeah, you are absolutely right. And to be fair, I think Freya looks better than like some of the fat models we're supposed to idolize nowadays. But yes, I certainly don't condone killing that walrus. Right? Also, speaking of shenanigans going on in Europe, Scotland is apparently scheduled to cut down 14 million trees to set up wind turbines. Let me repeat that. They're going to cut down millions of trees to set up wind turbines for the environment. Yeah, no, that seems a bit ass backwards to me. Some people on Twitter are commenting this is the green, environmentalism movement in a nutshell. And somebody please explain to me why we can't just set up these wind turbines like on top of buildings where they're not intrusive, use them as supplements for environmental, green energy. And do bear in mind that like windmills and wind turbines have to be like greased up with, oil. So ultimately, they're not all that effective. You all know me; I'm a big booster of nuclear power, and using like solar panels and wind turbines as supplementary forms of power. Because I don't know, but putting thousands of wind turbines and like coating the ground with solar panels seems a bit counterproductive if you want to protect the environment. And that's not getting into the fact that many wind turbines are BTFO'd by, birds flying into them, which kills the birds and the wind turbines. Which, again, seems a bit counterproductive. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. Speaking of Europe and the environment, the heat wave in Europe is actually doing some pretty cool things archaeologically. Strange weather patterns have uncovered archaeological treasures and bizarre scenes as extreme heat dries lakes, rivers, and melts sea ice. It's also happening in the United States too, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah, the extreme heat wave, which Europeans still can't turn on air conditioners to fix, which is a bit unpleasant. Yeah, it's like the sea levels are dropping, so it's unleashing like corpses, shipwrecks, old villages and gardens, which is pretty cool for archaeology. Yeah, so in Italy, the River Po has gone to its lowest level in 70 years. There's like old World War II era tanks. I will refrain from making jokes about Italian tanks. There's bridges from like the Roman Empire. There's like a whole village that like came out of the droughted river in Spain. Lake Mead, the United States, has got like old boats and like dead bodies are there. Ernest Shackleton's ship came out of the Antarctic ice. There's a guard in the UK. Yeah, it's pretty cool actually. So heat waves have done some interesting things, which I suppose is good for archaeology, but obviously I would prefer if people could, live. That's more important, of course. Captain Day After Day says we could replace coal usage in America by replacing the coal with all the dead birds they cause. Well, you see, coal burns much longer than dead birds. So I know it seems tempting with carbon is carbon, but carbon is not in fact the same as all other carbons. Unless we convert the dead birds into charcoal, then we might be getting somewhere. Okay, we're leaving behind Europe, I should say, to go to Asia. China's Gen Z feels a bit dejected. You don't say. China's youth unemployment rates hit a record in July as COVID uncertainties continue to linger and a record number of graduates stiffen the competition. So, in other words, just like America, I felt as if my future was smashed by a crusher. I don't know if I can piece it together. Okay, China's Gen Z is dejected and underemployed. The ambitions of the workers and salary expectations are diminishing in the wake of COVID and the tech crackdown. I mean, I would make a joke about, communism failing, but let's be honest, it's not any better in this country. So, yeah, join the club, China. All Gen Zers, all millennials are pretty dejected about their futures. Deal with it. Let's get some more quotes about this. Yeah, so the youth unemployment rate in China is almost at 20%. Sales are down. Steel output is down. Property investment is down. It's not good. What's going on there? So we may have won the second Cold War without even firing a shot. But then again, I mean, America's not doing good either. So it really is just a race to the bottom, isn't it? Okay, let's see. Ponythroat says the Italian tanks hit in the water because they heard water cannot stop bullets, which their armor cannot. Yes, I wanted to refrain from making jokes about Italian tanks, but you went and did it anyway. I mean, really, Mussolini has nobody to blame but himself when you send people out to war in like literal go-karts. That's yeah, that's not a good decision, pal. I mean, I gotta look up. Now you got me kind of talking about like the Italian tanks. I gotta look up that pile of crap. That let's see, we got the L6 is not good. Let's see, I gotta look up something that's really not good. I mean, that one's not even the worst of the worst. Let's see. Yeah, so the L6 is a pile of crap. And you got the, yeah, it's like literally a go kart. You got like the, yeah, go look up like the L229. That's literally a go kart with a machine gun on it. It's embarrassing, Italy. Ponythroat says at least they're better than Japanese tanks. I don't even know about that. I mean, the Chigo and the Hago were not great, but I mean, I do think it is better than like those little go karts the Italians were driving around in. That's just my opinion. I'm not an expert on armored vehicles. But it says the P40 was a decent Italian T-34 ripoff when the Germans used it. I was unaware of that. Anyway, let's get off the tanks for a while. Thank you for your opinion. And speaking of military shenanigans, ex-soldier raids an animal shelter with an assault rifle in full tactical gear. He got his kitty back. He launched a one-man raid on an animal shelter after he believed that his missing cat was being held at the facility. I mean, I'm trying to find more information on this. Let me see if I can find that. Okay, here we go. So, in Australia, he stormed that animal shelter and held an employee captive at gunpoint. A Tony Whitman pled guilty to charges connected to the bizarre incident for breaking into a home outside of Melbourne on January 11th. So it's a little out of date, but whatever. Yes, he threatened a woman to get his cat. He tied a woman's hands behind her back. The cat was not there apparently. I don't know where the cat is. I hope that things are okay. But yeah, you know what? I'll allow it. Okay, pets are very nice, and if you feel like your pet is threatened, yeah, I don't know if I would storm the place with a gun, but storm with your bare hands and start punching people, certainly. I mean, what? Okay, now going back to America, because just in case you thought that the insanity was only going on overseas, it's not. America is a shithole still, like when a man built a house up to code, but it got torn down anyway because he's not a certified contractor. Again, I wasn't aware that, like, you know, that credentialism and, like, certification crap was now applying to, like, the trades too. I thought that was just for academics like me. Again, I'll never be like 100% on like the libertarian platform, but a lot of it I do agree with, and it's crap like this that causes me to agree with it. I mean, the man built the house up to code. Like, why should you tear it down just because he's not certified to do so? Like, what kind of homeowners association, busybody was tearing down a man's house? I don't get it. Okay, Ponythroat says, I'm typing less today because I'm typing with his left hoof at arm's length while using an exercise bike. I know they made exercise bikes for horses. Well, anyways, sir, at the risk of sounding like a bit of a pedant, if you are capable of typing while riding your exercise bike, you ought to be typing. I'm sorry, you ought to be riding the bike harder. So get to it. Okay, so now we'll get to some cultural news. Former child actress Jeanette McCurdy, who starred some show I've never heard of, she's blowing the whistle on Hollywood pedophilia, which I mean, there goes her career, if not her life. But yeah, it's an issue, and we need to discuss it. The article says Jeanette McCurdy, former child actress for Nickelodeon, is blowing the whistle on how children are drugged and raped by Hollywood executives and forced to engage in sexual acts in order to further their careers. Okay, my whole childhood and adolescence were very exploited, she said in an interview with the New York Times. I mean, this might be a bit sensationalist since in her book she talks about being abused, certainly. Her new memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died. And some things are a little sketchy, like she had to take bikini pictures when she was like 14, 15 years old. She was encouraged to drink alcohol, but she never goes outright and says that, she got bad touched. But the implications are there, certainly. And, this is obviously not news to any of my listeners. You know that pedophilia in Hollywood is rampant. I've discussed it a few times myself. And, obviously the memes about Dan Schneider are, what they are. He's been long suspected for years of, bad touching little girls. So, yeah, let's hope he gets arrested soon. All right, so that does it for my prepared remarks, unless I can just kind of browse around. Let's see if Wages posting L's uh, post anything new. Let's see. Okay, there's a sign that says, do not charge phones or electrical devices on the premises. It's theft of electricity and you'll be deducted from your pay. Turn off your phone. Well, Scott Adams years ago wrote a book called The Dilbert Principle about, bad business practices. And one of the things he said was, when a company starts, you know, charging you for like toilet paper or like donuts in the break room, that's when you know your company's on its last legs. I guess this is a new sign too. If you're not allowed to charge your phone because it adds up the electrical bill, yeah, like they're penny pinching, the company's probably dying. So take solace in that, Wages. Who can't take solace in their crappy job are Walmart wages, who are apparently now being forced to wear capes. Because apparently, the We Are Walmart chants and, dancing the surf and bird and all the other rampant humiliations that the Walmart Corporation forces its employees to do, apparently that wasn't enough. Now they got to wear capes. And, maybe I just have too much dignity, but if I was ever forced to do something like that, like, you know, shuck and jive to Surfing Bird or, clap, we are Walmart. Yeah, uh, I would punch my boss in the face and quit that day. I mean, there's no amount of pay that's worth being humiliated like that. Ponythroat says, or he asked me rather, what is the best beat 'em up in your opinion? River City Ransom, of course. I mean, just bar none, River City Ransom will always be the best beat 'em up. Okay, so yeah, nothing really major in wages posting L's. Yeah, that does it for my prepared remarks. I apologize for this being a little short. I do have to deal with, bumper problems with my car. Oh, wait, no, I do have something else that came up. Uh, Mullet Mania. There's the Children's Mullet Championships at the United States Mullet Championships. Why are there mullet championships? Like, why did the mullet not die? Uh, you know, in the '80s or early. Actually, no, it went until like the mid '90s. Yeah, why did it not die? The mullet needs to die, just like the bowl cut. There's so many bad haircuts that are out there in the world, and they really ought to you know, get rid of them. Got to read more about this mullet championship. Jesus Christ, that's horrifying. This picture. It's terrible, terrible haircut. The mullet. Okay. Pointy Throat says somebody leaked the list of Walmart special days list. Women's Day, Martin Luther King Day, Labor Day, Workplace Massacre Day. I'm surprised there aren't more massacres at like Walmart and Amazon warehouses. Well, to be fair, with Amazon warehouses, they make you go through metal detectors before you even get in. So, you know, I guess that's why it's very sensible because otherwise there would be like massacres of Amazon every single day. So yeah, that does it for my prepared remarks. If anybody has anything else to say it now. Otherwise, I got a bunch of stupid crap to do today. Yeah, give you a minute to say your last pieces. Ponythor says, I've worked in Amazon. You only pass metal detectors while leaving. I don't know. The one I worked at had it going in and out. And they had like the spinny door so you had to sign in. So, I think they make damn sure that you're not going to shoot up the place because believe me, you have every motivation to when you're in that workplace. All right, so seems like we're done here. So